As God is my witness, I'll never be hungry again.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
When you look into it, the 30s was one of the toughest times from the last century.
Due to the Great Depression starting in 1929, more than 15 million American citizens were unemployed. Once Franklin Delano Roosevelt became the 32nd president, he pledged to make a new deal with the American people.
Hey, that was one of the quotes we heard earlier.
Roosevelt's deal would use the power from the federal government to stop America's economic downfall.
Many other things happened along the way, but without further ado, I'm George.
I'm Grace.
And I'm Tom. And we're going into the 30s.
Do I get to keep the cane and suit?
No, George, we only have so many silhouettes for 1930s men.
Starting off with more of a crash than a bang, the Great Depression was truly the most defining moment of the 1930s, at least in America. With Roosevelt in power and Hoover leaving quickly, many decisions leaned towards the Democrats, mostly being anti-fascist and slowly moving towards anti-racism.
Though that wasn't the same with the rest of the world, as Francisco Franco, Joseph Stalin, Benito Mussolini, and Mr. Toothbrush Mustache grew in power.
I'm pretty sure you guys know these other guys and their notorious controversy, but in case you forgot, here are some memes of them.
As the 1930s started with the Great Depression, it was fitting enough that it ended with it.
But that doesn't mean humanity's troubles were over. The 1930s began with a crash, but ended with a bang, as the sequel nobody asked for.
Oh, Zoolander 2?
No, that was
Dumb and Dumber 2?
No, George.
Return to Oz? An American Werewolf in Paris?
For the last time, George! If you would bloody listen, it was World War II!
Carrie 2?
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Moving on, some notable headlines are as follows.
How you can survive new Great Depression. Why you should spend all your money before the banks collapse.
German troops pour into Austria. Nazi is made chancellor.
Roosevelt elected by landslide.
Hitler seizes full power in Reich. Army backs him. Nation mourns Hindenburg.
Babyface shot dead.
This is in reference to gangster George Babyface Nelson, who had criminal charges of accidental shooting, theft, robbery, murder, kidnapping, assault with intent to kill.
Wanted for murder, kidnapping, theft, and for arson, Adolf Hitler, this reckless criminal, is wanted dead or alive.
Well, enough of that. Grace, would you do the honors of talking about 1930s fashion?
I'm not sure if I can laugh at this. Seems pretty sick.
Shh, just watch, Georgie.
Wait, she's just getting out a bunch of BuzzFeed articles and Glamour Mag.
For women, skirts became longer and the waistline was returned up to its normal position in an attempt to bring back the traditional womanly look. Cloche hats remained popular until about 1933, while short hair remained popular for many women until late in the 1930s and even in the early 1940s. The main sort of dress in the 1930s included features such as an hourglass-shaped figure, broad shoulders, and was nipped in high-waist tops. Gloves were also enormously important in this period. They were a type of accessory that came to be seen as more of a comfort rather than for style. For men, the drape cut or London drape suit, championed by Frederick Scholt, was taking the world of men's fashion by storm. The most common hat of this period was the fedora, often worn tipped down over one eye at a rakish angle. Neckties were wide and bold geometric designs were popular, including stripes and quadrilateral designs. They also had their hair slicked back to get a Clark Gable or Jimmy Stewart look.
You see what I was saying? Easy.
Definitely.
At the time, America's top 4 favorite sports were track and field, basketball, boxing, and baseball.
Not much has changed except for the Negro League being scrapped and well forgotten.
Alright. There were many slang terms originating from the 30s, such as canaries being another name for female singers.
Gat, rods, and conceivers were used for guns.
Coffins were often called the Chicago overcoat.
And the tasty hooch, if you know what I mean, being a substitute for liquor. There isn't many information related to fitness fads from the 30s.
The only thing found seems to be an early form of parkour that is believed to be called functional training.
Bell Labs invent the voice recognition machine.
Scotch tape got patented.
Frank Whittle and Dr. Hans von Ohain invent the jet engine.
Charles Darrow claimed he invented the game Monopoly.
Frequency modulation, FM radio, invented by Edwin Howard Armstrong.
And the ballpoint pen was invented. Monopoly was the only well-known toy of the decade, aside from homemade dolls.
To distract people from the Depression, many movies were released. Big Oscar hits such as It Happened One Night and Gone with the Wind were released during this decade. Other hits released were Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Wizard of Oz, King Kong, most of the Universal Monster movies, and anything made by Chaplin.
The most famous music genres were jazz and swing music. Big names were Duke Ellington, Benny Goodman, and Glenn Miller.
Also, Carl Orff's magnificent O Fortuna was finally published.
Wait, why can't we listen to any of these songs?
'Cause of copyright reasons, Georgie. By 1930, around half of the United States owned cars. Trains were also a big deal of the time, with trains going faster for long distances, but were often only used by the incredibly rich.
Well, crap. I think we went over everything important. What else can we do for those other two topics of choice?
Oh, I don't know, but I didn't make this population chart for nothing. Oh, guess what? It starts at 123 million people and goes up. What a surprise!
How about more memes? Dang it!
Hey, for farts and laughs, here's the script. It's an embedded document that's about the 30s. Hey, that kind of works, yeah.